Hi, I'm the gadget guru Andy Parr, and you're watching thevog.net. I'm here at Volusia Motorsports in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, and here with me is Don. You know him as DSJR70 on the Vog, and here is Don's newest bike. Now, Don, let's go through, before we get into the bike, tell us a little bit about your victory history and all your bikes.
Well, this will be my seventh victory. Had 4 Vegases, a cross country, a Vision, and now the Crossroads LE.
Now, like your Vegas LE, this is a #1. Were you able to pull off a #1 limited edition on 2 different bikes?
Actually, I made a couple of phone calls, and then I really didn't think I was getting it, and Andy from Volusia was the one that pushed it through and made it happen.
Well, before we get into your review of it, let's turn the clock back 2 years ago. It was November of 2009 that you and I went to Buy Polaris in Fort Pierce, Florida, where they had a victory demo day. We met up there, we had the camera out. That was both our first time seeing both the cross country and the crossroads. You took a test ride on the crossroads, and let's go back and take a look at your original review. Okay, Don, you're back from your ride. What is your initial gut feel of this bike?
Bike is definitely not for me. It's built for somebody at least 2 inches taller than me. For a touring bike, I shouldn't be in a constant leaning position. Didn't really like the gauges. They look cool, but for a touring bike, they need to be a little bit easier to read and cycle through all the different options on there. The other thing I didn't like about it was the kickstand. I have to actually move myself forward in the bike to get the kickstand back because it's out of my reach.
How was the wind protection on this?
It's good up to about 45, 50 miles an hour. After that, I got it up to, I probably shouldn't say, but I got it up over highway speeds and it's non-existent. My glasses almost flew off going down the road. Yeah, it's definitely set up for somebody a little taller than me, because the wind buffeting back and forth, it was knocking me around.
Okay. Well, so far a lot of people have commented about the volume of the bags. What do you think?
They are decent size. I'm not big on the hard saddlebag because you can't overstuff them like you do a leather saddlebag. And you can't reach into them while you're driving to get your drink out. So I'd rather have the soft ones, to be honest. For me, it really doesn't fit in at all. This would never be an option for me.
Well, Don, I don't know how you're going to live this down. Let me go through what your original review was. You said, it's not for me. The wind protection was good up to 45 to 50 miles an hour and was virtually non-existent at highway speed, and your glasses almost flew off. You said it was built for someone at least 2 inches taller than you. You said for a touring bike that you shouldn't be in such a leaning position in terms of your seating position. You said the gauges need to be easier to read. You even made a comment about the kickstand location, that it was difficult to reach. And finally, you were confused, because Victory was billing it as a touring bike, of where it fit into the lineup. Now, let's go back through this now. You said it's not for you, but you turn around and buy one. What happened in the past 2 years?
Well, really, the whole bike has changed since 2010. Just about everything except for the kickstand location has been improved since they came out with the 2010 models.
Okay, I was with you when you did the review, and the biggest complaint was the buffeting and the wind issues. What's changed on this bike that was present on the other one?
On this one, it has a larger, wider windshield on it than the original 2010. In 2011, they straightened that out by giving you 3 options for the windshield instead of just the one that came on the bike.
Now, is there any lowers or anything that have keep the wind from affecting you, or dirty air coming up?
The windshield has lowers built into them. I'm not really sure if the 2010 had that or not.
Okay. How about the seating position? You were saying before that the seating position wasn't good for you, that you need to be, that it was built for somebody who was 2 inches taller. Has it changed at all ergonomically in the last 2 years?
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just because of the LE. The LE has a different seat on it than the standard Crossroads, but it's pushing me more forward, closer to the handlebars where I actually reach them comfortably.
Okay. Now, I tell you, this is the first time that I've seen your bike, and before we get to the rest of your review, I have to tell you, I think that this is the most gorgeous seat that Victory's ever produced. I don't know if it's the way they put the studs in or the leather versus the vinyl. What's your thoughts on comparing the seats?
It's extremely comfortable, and on this one they used two-tone leather on it to make it stand out, plus the studs on it.
Going back to the original Crossroads model, that came standard with the hard bags. What do you think about this now having the soft bags?
I like that. I made the comment when we first did the first video that it needed to have soft bags on it or leather bags on it. It just makes the bike look a lot nicer as far as I'm concerned.
What's the difference between the two storage-wise?
The Cross Country has a lot more storage than the Crossroads with the leather bags.
Okay. Do you find this being ample here?
Yeah, it's got more than enough room for me, especially after being on a Vision.
Okay. Compared to the Vision, how do the side bags compare?
They're probably double the amount of space in them.
Okay. Do you think it has less of a big bottom look with the soft bags?
Yeah, and it gives it more of the retro feel to it also.
Well, I tell you, when I first saw the photos of this, and again, this is the first time I've seen it up close and personal, this reminded me of a bike I had in the mid-90s, which was a Heritage Softail Special, which was the two-tone paint, leather bags. This really has that type of feel to it, but much more modern. Do you think that buyers of other brands will noticeably compare this?
Yeah, because when I was originally looking for a bike, I was looking at the Heritage, so this really caught my eye when I seen it, and I think it could bring over a few other Harley guys.
You made a comment about the kickstand before, that it was difficult to reach. Has that changed on the 2012?
No, really, it's in the same exact location. It's still a little tough to reach, but you get used to it after a while.
Okay, and finally reverting back to your video, you said you weren't sure where this fits in the Victory lineup. Now that you've owned this, you've owned a number of different models, where do you think this fits in the lineup?
Well, I still don't think it's a touring model. Touring model to me should have at least a stereo. But I wouldn't think twice about heading across country on it.
Overall, now I will tell you, this is as pretty of a paint scheme as I've ever seen Victory produce. What's your overall review of the 2012 Victory Crossroads LE?
I love it. I'll never go back to a Vegas after this. So, yeah, I'm pretty much stuck with this one.
After 4 Vegases, that's saying quite a bit.
Yeah, it does. The Vegas was the most comfortable bike I was ever on until I got this one.
Okay, so I guess you can say that this bike is now for you?
Yes, definitely now for me.
Okay. What a difference 2 years makes. Well, Don, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I hope you have many happy miles on this one, and you keep this one around for a while, at least until the next LE comes along.
Oh, it will be.
For the VOG.net, I'm the Gadget Guru Andy Parr, and I'll see you on the road and online.